Being single is often misunderstood as a state of loneliness or incompleteness, but from a Stoic perspective, it is one of the greatest opportunities to build mental strength. Solitude forces you to confront yourself honestly, without distraction or external validation. In a relationship, it is easy to rely on another person for emotional stability, to soothe discomfort, or to fill moments of boredom. When you are alone, all of this responsibility falls squarely on your own shoulders. This is where true mental resilience begins. You learn to face life as it is, rather than as you wish it to be, and this practice is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. Being single gives you the chance to cultivate self-discipline in ways that are difficult when your attention is divided. Without a partner, you are responsible for structuring your day, maintaining your habits, and facing your weaknesses head-on. Every time you resist the urge to escape into distractions or unhealthy comforts, you strengthen your willpower. Stoicism teaches that self-mastery is the foundation of freedom, and being single is an unparalleled environment in which to develop it. The discomfort that comes from confronting your own thoughts and emotions without a buffer becomes a kind of training ground for your mind. Loneliness, which many perceive as a weakness, is actually a teacher. It highlights where you depend too much on external approval or companionship for your sense of self-worth. It exposes patterns of neediness or avoidance, forcing you to examine your emotional dependencies. A Stoic learns to embrace this discomfort, to observe it without judgment, and to understand that it is temporary and manageable. Over time, this process builds resilience and emotional independence. You learn that your stability does not come from others, but from your own rational assessment and disciplined response to life's challenges. Being single also sharpens clarity of values. In relationships, it is easy to compromise your principles for the sake of harmony, acceptance, or fear of conflict. Solitude removes these pressures, allowing you to confront what truly matters to you. You are forced to ask yourself, what do I tolerate? What do I refuse to compromise? How do I want to live, regardless of external opinion? This practice strengthens your moral backbone and gives you a grounded sense of integrity, which is central to Stoic virtue. The mind of someone who is single also becomes more observant and reflective. Without constant social or emotional engagement, you are able to spend time with your own thoughts. You observe your desires, your fears, and your reactions to challenges with greater clarity. You learn to notice how often your mind exaggerates threats or misinterprets situations. Stoicism teaches that much of human suffering comes not from external events, but from our judgments about them. Being single provides the ideal environment to practice examining and correcting these judgments, gradually leading to greater equanimity. Another powerful aspect of being single is the development of patience. Without the immediacy of emotional support or constant companionship, you learn to endure discomfort, uncertainty, and delay without panic. Life rarely goes exactly as planned, and relationships often provide a way to buffer or escape this reality. Being alone forces you to sit with challenges directly, building a level of patience and emotional fortitude that is difficult to achieve otherwise. Stoicism values endurance and the ability to remain rational in the face of adversity, and solitude is a perfect teacher in this respect. Being single also teaches self-sufficiency. When you cannot rely on another person to validate your feelings, make you feel secure, or support your daily needs, you are forced to develop internal resources. You cultivate routines, habits, and internal dialogues that sustain you emotionally and mentally. Over time, this self-sufficiency grows into a deep sense of confidence and stability. You learn that while relationships can add richness to life, your happiness and strength are not dependent upon them. This insight is one of the core principles of Stoic philosophy. Solitude also allows for clearer thinking and better decision-making. In a relationship, emotions and obligations can cloud judgment. You might make choices to appease someone else, avoid conflict, or maintain a connection, rather than because they are rational or virtuous. Being single removes these pressures and provides space to analyze situations objectively. You become better at prioritizing long-term goals, acting with integrity, and making choices that are aligned with reason rather than desire. This kind of mental clarity is a cornerstone of Stoic practice. Being single also gives you a chance to examine attachment and desire. Desire itself is not inherently problematic, but attachment can make you vulnerable to disappointment and emotional turbulence. When alone, you observe desires without immediately acting on them or letting them control you. You learn that your value and stability are not dependent on acquiring what you want or avoiding what you fear. This detachment, which Stoicism encourages, strengthens your emotional autonomy and reduces susceptibility to manipulation or impulsive behavior. Another important lesson of being single is the cultivation of inner peace. Relationships can often amplify emotional highs and lows. While intimacy brings joy, it also brings potential for conflict, dependency, and distraction. Solitude provides a calmer environment in which to practice maintaining balance regardless of external events. Over time, this ability to remain centered, calm, and rational even when life is unpredictable becomes a defining feature of mental strength. You learn that peace is something cultivated internally, not granted externally. Being single also fosters self-awareness in practical ways. With fewer external distractions, you are more likely to notice patterns in your behavior, thought processes, and emotional reactions. You begin to see where you overreact, where you procrastinate, and where your assumptions are flawed. Stoicism teaches that self-awareness is the foundation of wisdom and virtue. By understanding yourself deeply, you can begin to correct your errors, strengthen your character, and respond to life more effectively. Being single allows for focused personal growth. Without the emotional and logistical demands of a relationship, you can dedicate more energy to improving your mind, body, and habits. You have time to learn, practice, and refine skills that support your long-term well-being. Whether it is cultivating patience, studying philosophy, exercising discipline, or developing empathy, solitude provides uninterrupted space to strengthen all aspects of yourself. This intentional growth is central to the Stoic path. Solitude also enhances your appreciation for relationships when they do occur. When you are mentally strong and self-sufficient, any connection you form is a choice rather than a need. You interact with others from a place of abundance, not lack. This allows for healthier, more balanced relationships built on respect, virtue, and mutual support rather than dependence. Stoics recognize that external relationships are valuable, but should never replace self-mastery or inner stability. Being single provides repeated lessons in humility and impermanence. Life is unpredictable, and all circumstances are temporary. Relationships may end, situations change, and people may fail you. By learning to stand alone, you build resilience against loss, disappointment, and change. You understand that true strength does not come from holding on to people or circumstances, but from adapting, accepting, and acting virtuously regardless of external conditions. Being single teaches you to enjoy your own company, which is an underrated form of mental strength. Many people fear silence, solitude, or introspection. Stoics encouraged reflection and contemplation because they recognized that the mind grows stronger through engagement with itself. When you can find contentment, focus, and even joy alone, you are cultivating the foundation for emotional and intellectual independence. This ability to be fully present with yourself is a skill that strengthens every aspect of life. Being single also improves resilience to social pressures. Society often prioritizes relationships, family, and partnership as measures of success. Choosing to remain single or to focus on personal growth before entering a relationship requires courage and mental fortitude. It teaches you to evaluate life on your own terms and resist conformity. This independence from social expectation is a powerful expression of Stoic wisdom and self-discipline. Another benefit of being single is the opportunity to refine your habits and routines without compromise. In relationships, daily life often requires negotiation, compromise, and adaptation that may not align with your personal goals. Solitude allows you to live intentionally, structuring your day, energy, and attention in alignment with reason and virtue. These consistent practices reinforce mental strength, discipline, and focus. Being single also sharpens emotional regulation. Without a partner as an outlet or mirror for your feelings, you are forced to observe, understand, and manage your emotions internally. Stoicism teaches that emotions arise naturally but should not control actions. Solitude provides the perfect environment to practice observing impulses, regulating reactions, and responding with reason rather than reflex. This strengthens emotional resilience and rational decision-making. Solitude teaches you to embrace discomfort as a teacher rather than a threat. Life is full of challenges, uncertainties, and unavoidable hardships. Being single exposes you to small doses of discomfort daily, boredom, uncertainty, self-reflection, that prepare you to face larger challenges with composure. Stoics called this the training of the mind, building endurance through voluntary exposure to manageable difficulties. Being single also allows you to discover your true passions, priorities, and purpose without distraction. With fewer external obligations, you can focus deeply on what matters to you, whether that is intellectual pursuit, physical health, or creative expression. Stoicism teaches that purpose and virtue are central to a meaningful life. Solitude provides the clarity and space necessary to identify, pursue, and refine your purpose. Being single reinforces self-trust. You learn that you can meet your own needs, make your own decisions, and navigate life's challenges without relying on external support. This self-trust is the cornerstone of confidence and mental strength. When a challenge arises, you no longer panic or wait for someone else to solve it. You act decisively, guided by reason and virtue. Solitude also enhances mindfulness and presence. Without constant engagement with another's needs or distractions from a partner, you are more attuned to the present moment. Stoics emphasized living fully in the present because it is the only moment truly under your control. Being single trains attention, awareness, and presence, which in turn strengthens focus, calm, and rational action. Being single teaches restraint and moderation in desire, consumption, and habit. Without a partner influencing lifestyle, routines, or emotional behavior, you can cultivate self-control in its purest form. Stoicism values moderation as a path to virtue, and solitude provides the perfect environment to practice it consistently. Being single also strengthens empathy and self-understanding. By spending time alone with your thoughts, you become more aware of your own emotions and reactions, which enhances your ability to relate to others wisely and compassionately. Stoicism teaches that understanding oneself is the first step toward understanding others. Ultimately, being single is not about rejecting connection or intimacy, but about prioritizing self-mastery, clarity, and resilience. Solitude is a training ground for the mind, providing lessons in patience, self-discipline, emotional control, and wisdom. When you emerge from this period of intentional solitude, you carry a mental strength that is unshakable. You are capable of forming relationships from abundance, facing life's challenges with calm, and navigating the world with a mind guided by reason rather than desire. Being single, when approached with intention and stoic practice, transforms discomfort into power, dependency into autonomy, and distraction into clarity. It teaches that true strength is not found in others, but cultivated within. And once you have mastered your own mind, no external circumstance can easily shake your peace, your focus, or your resilience. Solitude, therefore, is not a punishment or a gap to be filled. It is a profound opportunity to become mentally strong, independent, and unbreakable. Being single also teaches you to master your attention, which is one of the most powerful tools for mental strength. Without someone constantly demanding your focus, you learn to direct your energy intentionally. You notice how often your mind drifts to worries about others, social validation, or imagined expectations. Solitude gives you the chance to retrain your attention, to observe your thoughts without being pulled into reactive behaviors. This focused attention strengthens your ability to act deliberately, rather than being swept along by circumstances. Being single encourages self-reflection at a level most people never experience. Relationships can be mirrors, but they are often distorted mirrors. They show you what someone else wants to see or magnify your insecurities. Alone, your reflection is clear. You can confront your habits, your flaws, and your virtues without distortion. Stoicism emphasizes that self-knowledge is the cornerstone of wisdom, and solitude accelerates this process by providing uninterrupted insight into your character. Being single also cultivates resilience to social pressures and judgment. Society often treats being single as an abnormal state, attaching stigma or pity to those who remain unattached. This external pressure can be powerful, but solitude forces you to develop an inner standard that is independent of societal approval. The mind of someone who is single becomes a fortress. Opinions and expectations of others no longer dictate your choices or disturb your peace. This is one of the most profound forms of Stoic mental strength. Solitude teaches you to confront fear without avoidance. Fear of loneliness, fear of missing out, fear of failure. These emotions are amplified when you rely on others for security. Alone, you must face them directly. Stoicism teaches that fear is often based on false judgments about what is necessary or dangerous. By repeatedly confronting fear in solitude, you weaken its hold. You learn that discomfort is not destructive, and that courage is the ability to act rightly despite fear. Being single also allows you to develop a strong sense of personal responsibility. When no one else is present to share your burdens or mediate your challenges, you cannot blame or defer responsibility. Every success, failure, or mistake is yours to own. This accountability builds maturity, discipline, and self-reliance. Stoics believed that true power lies in governing oneself rather than attempting to control external circumstances or other people. Solitude gives you daily opportunities to practice this governance. Being single also enhances emotional intelligence in subtle ways. With no partner to project onto or distract from your feelings, you are forced to understand your emotions deeply. Why do you feel anxious in certain situations? What triggers frustration, longing, or sadness? By observing without judgment, you cultivate the ability to respond rather than react. Emotional regulation develops naturally, and over time, this skill carries into all areas of life. Being single strengthens your capacity for patience and long-term thinking. Relationships often demand immediate attention, reaction, or compromise, which can condition the mind towards short-term thinking. Solitude allows you to cultivate patience with yourself and with life. You begin to understand that meaningful growth takes time, discomfort is temporary, and perseverance is more valuable than instant gratification. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of focusing on what is within your control and accepting the natural flow of events. Being alone fosters this perspective naturally. Being single also fosters creativity and self-expression. Without the constant influence of another person's preferences, opinions, or expectations, you have the freedom to explore ideas, passions, and projects fully. Stoics valued self-development as a path to virtue, and solitude creates the optimal conditions for experimentation, reflection, and personal mastery. Over time, this freedom enhances your ability to contribute meaningfully to the world while remaining grounded and mentally resilient. Being single also prepares you for future relationships by developing clear boundaries and emotional independence. When you understand yourself fully, your needs, and your principles, you enter relationships from a position of strength rather than necessity. Stoicism teaches that virtue is preferable to pleasure or attachment, and this mindset allows you to form partnerships based on choice and mutual respect rather than fear, dependency, or insecurity. Solitude teaches humility as well. Life is unpredictable, and external circumstances rarely align perfectly with our desires. Being single forces you to accept reality without relying on external validation or support. This humility does not diminish your confidence. Instead, it grounds you. You learn to approach life with rationality, courage, and the understanding that some things are outside your control. Being single also sharpens the ability to appreciate connection without clinging to it. Once you learn to be mentally and emotionally whole on your own, you can enjoy the presence of others without losing yourself in them. Stoics emphasized that external things, including people, should not dictate inner peace. When you cultivate strength through solitude, you enjoy relationships as a choice, not a necessity, which ensures emotional stability even when life changes. Finally, being single teaches you that mental strength is not measured by external achievements or relationships, but by your ability to govern your mind and emotions. You learn to respond to life with calmness, clarity, and rational judgment. You develop resilience, patience, and reliance that cannot be shaken by circumstances. Solitude transforms discomfort into training, fear into courage, and independence into freedom. Through being single, you practice every day the essential principles of stoicism, self-mastery, virtue, clarity of judgment, and tranquility. You learn to live fully with yourself, cultivate wisdom, and strengthen the mind. And when life eventually brings connection, you bring not dependence, but the fullness of your own mental strength, ensuring that every relationship is an addition to your life, not a foundation for your happiness. Being single also trains you to embrace self-sufficiency in its purest form. In a relationship, it is easy to unconsciously rely on another person for motivation, comfort, or reassurance. Solitude removes that safety net, forcing you to cultivate these qualities within yourself. You begin to recognize that your happiness, stability, and sense of purpose are not gifts to be received, but skills to be developed. Stoics emphasize that no external thing should control your mind. Being alone teaches this principle experientially. You are the master of your inner life, and no one else can dictate it. Being single strengthens your ability to handle criticism and judgment. When you are not constantly influenced by the opinions of a partner, you are more able to form your own judgment of your actions and your character. This independence from external validation is crucial for mental resilience. Stoicism teaches that most of our suffering comes from misplaced concern over what others think. Solitude gives you repeated opportunities to practice caring less about external opinions and focusing on internal virtue. Being single also deepens your understanding of impermanence. People, circumstances, and material comforts are fleeting, and Stoicism encourages acceptance of this truth. By experiencing life without the constant attachment of a partner, you learn to appreciate moments fully while remaining unshaken by their passing. This understanding reduces anxiety, builds inner stability, and fosters a calm mindset. The lessons of impermanence are difficult to internalize while relying heavily on external support or companionship. Being single also develops the capacity for emotional regulation under pressure. In relationships, strong emotions are magnified through interaction, and it is easy to react impulsively. Alone, you must confront your feelings directly. You learn to observe them without immediately seeking an outlet or distraction. This observation strengthens the mind's ability to respond rationally rather than react emotionally. Stoics taught that the goal is not to eliminate emotions, but to govern them. Solitude provides a natural training ground for this mastery. Being single enhances your problem-solving abilities. Without a partner to share responsibilities or offer solutions, you learn to approach challenges independently. You analyze, weigh options, and make decisions based on reason rather than fear or convenience. This practice builds confidence and competence. Over time, you become someone who does not crumble under uncertainty or difficulty, because you are accustomed to navigating life with clarity and self-reliance. Being single also cultivates self-respect. When you are alone, you make choices based solely on your values and principles, rather than external pressures or desires to please someone else. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of acting in accordance with virtue rather than seeking approval. The mental strength that comes from living by your principles without compromise is profound. It forms the foundation for healthy, balanced interactions with others, because your self-worth no longer depends on external reinforcement. Being single strengthens your capacity to sit with discomfort without escaping it. Many people fear being alone because it exposes them to restlessness, uncertainty, and unfiltered thoughts. However, Stoicism teaches that the path to resilience runs directly through discomfort. Solitude forces you to face it, to sit with it, and to understand that it is temporary. Over time, this practice builds tolerance for adversity and teaches patience, two essential qualities of mental strength. Being single encourages introspection and reflection. Without constant interaction, your mind naturally turns inward, examining past decisions, future goals, and present habits. This reflection improves judgment, sharpens insight, and fosters self-awareness. Stoics believed that self-knowledge is the foundation of all wisdom. Solitude accelerates this process by removing the noise of social demands, allowing you to listen closely to your own reasoned thoughts. Being single also nurtures focus and intentionality. In the absence of external obligations to a partner, you have the opportunity to dedicate your attention fully to personal growth. Whether it is improving your mind, body, or character, you can pursue these goals with undivided energy. The practice of living intentionally, without distraction, strengthens willpower and reinforces discipline. This intentionality becomes a habit that carries into every area of life. Being single teaches humility in a quiet, steady way. Without relying on someone else for comfort or support, you are constantly reminded of your own limitations. Yet this humility is paired with self-reliance. You are capable of meeting your own needs. This combination, humble acknowledgement of limits with the confidence to act within them, is central to Stoic strength. It ensures that your mind remains grounded, rational, and resilient. Being single also teaches you the value of patience in relationships and interactions. Once you have mastered your own mind, you approach others from a place of abundance rather than need. You no longer seek instant gratification or approval, but allow relationships to develop naturally, guided by reason and virtue. Stoicism teaches that virtue is more important than pleasure, and solitude prepares you to enter connections without sacrificing your principles. Being single cultivates the ability to enjoy simple pleasures fully, without the distraction of another person's expectations or emotional demands. You can find satisfaction in small, often overlooked moments: a quiet morning, a thoughtful book, a walk in nature. Stoicism emphasizes that happiness depends on the mind's perception, not external circumstances. Solitude provides the perfect environment to practice this insight, strengthening your ability to remain content regardless of external conditions. Being single also enhances creativity and problem-solving. Free from constant emotional engagement or social compromise, your mind can explore ideas, develop strategies, and innovate without distraction. Stoics valued the cultivation of the mind above all else, and solitude provides the optimal environment for reflection, experimentation, and growth. The mental flexibility developed in solitude strengthens both judgment and resilience. Being single teaches the importance of ethical independence. Decisions are made without the pressure of another's desires, and actions are judged solely by their alignment with reason and virtue. Stoicism emphasizes that external approval should never dictate moral choice. Solitude allows you to practice acting virtuously because it is the right thing, not because it pleases someone else. This practice reinforces integrity, self-respect, and mental fortitude. Being single also strengthens your ability to face uncertainty calmly. Life is unpredictable, and external attachments can create anxiety about outcomes. Stoicism teaches that the only thing truly under your control is your own judgment and actions. Being alone repeatedly exposes you to uncertainty in a manageable way, training the mind to remain steady regardless of circumstances. Over time, this creates unshakable confidence and composure. Being single provides the opportunity to develop a rich inner life. You learn to entertain your mind, cultivate curiosity, and deepen understanding without relying on external stimuli. Stoics taught that the mind should be nourished with virtue, reason, and reflection. Solitude fosters this nourishment, allowing mental strength to grow steadily over time. Being single enhances the ability to self-correct. In relationships, it is easy to avoid responsibility or blame external factors for mistakes. Alone, you must acknowledge errors and take corrective action. This practice builds accountability, judgment, and self-discipline. The ability to learn from mistakes without defensiveness or avoidance is a hallmark of a strong, rational mind. Being single also encourages emotional resilience by forcing you to confront desires and frustrations directly. Without someone else to absorb or distract from these feelings, you learn to observe them, understand their origins, and choose your response carefully. Stoicism teaches that you are not harmed by external events, but by your judgments about them. Solitude provides daily exercises in practicing this principle, creating a mind that remains unshaken by emotion or circumstance. Being single also teaches you the art of self-validation. Many people unconsciously rely on external approval, from a partner, friends, or society, to feel worthy. Solitude removes these crutches, leaving you to develop confidence and satisfaction from your own efforts and character. Stoicism emphasizes that true contentment arises from virtue and reason, not from others' judgments. When you learn to validate yourself, you cultivate a deep, unshakable sense of self-worth that cannot be disturbed by changing circumstances. Being single gives you the space to practice emotional detachment, a key Stoic skill. Detachment does not mean indifference or lack of love. It means observing desires, fears, and emotions without allowing them to control your actions. Relationships often amplify emotional reactions because there is someone to trigger your attachments or insecurities. Alone, you experience these feelings fully but learn to respond with reason. Over time, this strengthens the mind's resilience and capacity for calm judgment. Being single also trains you to embrace uncertainty and impermanence. Life is unpredictable, and people come and go. Stoicism teaches that clinging to external circumstances leads to suffering. When you live alone, you constantly confront the temporary nature of connections, events, and desires. This repeated exposure cultivates acceptance and prepares you to face loss or change without panic. The mental fortitude built through this practice is invaluable. Being single encourages deep self-reflection, which is often interrupted in relationships. Without constant social obligations, you have the freedom to examine your thoughts, habits, and motives. You can analyze what drives your actions, what fears hold you back, and what virtues you need to strengthen. Stoics valued this kind of introspection because it allows the mind to govern itself with wisdom. Solitude creates the perfect environment for this ongoing, practical self-examination. Being single enhances your ability to appreciate freedom. In relationships, compromises are necessary, but they can sometimes mask dependence or limit personal exploration. Alone, you are free to live intentionally, following your values, routines, and purpose without interference. This freedom is both empowering and formative. Stoicism teaches that true freedom is the mastery of oneself, not the absence of obligations, and being single is one of the most direct ways to practice this mastery. Being single also strengthens patience and long-term thinking. Without the constant stimulation of another's presence, you learn to endure boredom, discomfort, and delayed gratification. Stoicism teaches that virtue and growth require patience and consistent effort over time. Solitude allows you to practice these qualities daily, building habits of endurance, perseverance, and strategic thinking that become part of your character. Being single fosters emotional independence. You learn that your sense of security, happiness, and calm does not need to be outsourced. This independence protects you from the volatility of other people's moods or decisions. Stoics emphasized that peace comes from within, not from external circumstances. The ability to remain centered regardless of who is present in your life is one of the most profound markers of mental strength. Being single also cultivates humility paired with self-reliance. You realize that while external support is valuable, you are ultimately responsible for yourself. This dual understanding, acknowledging limits while confidently managing your own life, is a cornerstone of Stoic wisdom. Over time, solitude teaches you to rely on reason, discipline, and virtue rather than chance or other people to maintain stability and progress. Being single encourages the development of inner peace. Relationships often introduce complexity, drama, or dependency. Alone, you can practice tranquility, responding to life calmly and rationally rather than reacting impulsively. Stoicism teaches that calmness is not passive. It is the product of disciplined thought and emotional mastery. Solitude provides continuous training for this skill. Being single strengthens your focus on purpose. Free from the obligations of maintaining a partnership, you have more energy to identify and pursue your life's goals. Stoics believe that a meaningful life is one aligned with virtue and reason. Solitude allows you to explore your purpose without distraction, to prioritize what truly matters, and to structure your life around values rather than attachment. Being single also helps you understand the nature of desire and attachment. You observe what you want without immediately acting on it or depending on it for happiness. This practice reduces unnecessary suffering because you learn to enjoy what is present without craving what is absent. Stoicism teaches that the mind becomes strong when it is disciplined in its responses to desire, and solitude provides constant opportunities to exercise this discipline. Being single teaches gratitude. When you rely on yourself and face life's challenges independently, you notice small comforts and successes more vividly. A quiet meal, a completed task, a moment of clarity, these become sources of contentment. Stoicism emphasizes gratitude for what is present rather than lamenting what is absent. Solitude makes this daily practice easier and more powerful. Being single encourages self-correction and accountability. Without someone else to blame or shield you from mistakes, you must examine your own actions and their consequences. This repeated practice strengthens judgment, responsibility, and character. Stoics valued self-correction as essential for growth, and solitude offers a continuous environment for refining your behavior and thought. Being single sharpens your ability to connect meaningfully in the future. When you are mentally strong and independent, relationships are entered from abundance, not need. You can choose connections based on shared values and mutual respect, rather than dependency. This improves both the quality and stability of your social and romantic interactions. Stoics emphasized virtue over desire, and solitude helps you internalize this principle fully. Being single also teaches you to enjoy stillness. Modern life is full of constant noise, both externally and internally. Relationships often amplify that noise with emotional dynamics and demands. Alone, you have the chance to sit quietly, to reflect, and to strengthen your mind without distraction. This cultivation of inner stillness enhances focus, patience, and clarity, qualities that are essential to Stoic mental strength. Being single develops courage. Life presents challenges and uncertainties, and solitude exposes you to these without immediate support. By facing difficulties alone, whether emotional, financial, or practical, you build courage, resilience, and self-trust. Stoicism teaches that courage is not the absence of fear, but the disciplined ability to act rightly despite fear. Being single gives you repeated opportunities to practice this skill. Being single also encourages rational judgment. When no one else is influencing your choices emotionally, you learn to weigh situations carefully, act with reason, and align your decisions with virtue. Stoics taught that wisdom involves seeing things as they are, without distortion from desire or attachment. Solitude strengthens this capacity, making the mind sharper, calmer, and more effective. Being single also strengthens your ability to act independently under pressure. In life, challenges are inevitable, and external support is not always available. Solitude forces you to face these situations relying on your own judgment and resourcefulness. Stoicism teaches that the wise person does not wait for circumstances to be perfect, nor for others to guide them. By confronting challenges alone, you cultivate confidence, adaptability, and decisiveness, qualities that form the backbone of mental strength. Being single also develops a profound sense of self-trust. Every decision you make, every action you take, is your responsibility alone. Over time, this repeated practice creates a trust in your own reasoning and judgment. You begin to recognize that you are capable of navigating life, regardless of obstacles or opinions. Stoics believed that self-trust is essential to freedom because it liberates the mind from dependence on fortune or others' validation. Being single sharpens your understanding of what is essential. Without the constant input or distraction of another person's needs, opinions, or desires, you are forced to confront what truly matters to you. Stoicism teaches that a virtuous life is one devoted to what is under your control, your own thoughts, actions, and character. Solitude naturally directs your attention to these essentials, allowing you to discard trivial concerns and focus on meaningful growth. Being single also strengthens your resilience to rejection and loss. Life is unpredictable, and relationships can end unexpectedly. Those who rely on external support for emotional stability often experience devastation. By cultivating mental and emotional independence through solitude, you learn to recover quickly, maintaining inner stability despite external setbacks. Stoics emphasized that resilience is built by preparing the mind for adversity, not avoiding it. Being single encourages mindfulness and presence. Without constant emotional engagement, you have the opportunity to observe your thoughts and feelings without distraction. Stoicism teaches that the present moment is all we truly control. By learning to remain grounded and attentive in solitude, you strengthen focus, clarity, and rational decision-making, all of which contribute to mental fortitude. Being single also teaches you to enjoy accomplishments without external validation. Achievements are experienced fully because the satisfaction comes from within, not from praise or recognition. Stoics taught that virtue is its own reward, and solitude allows you to internalize this principle. By finding joy and pride in your own growth, you reduce dependence on external affirmation and reinforce inner strength. Being single improves your ability to set boundaries and make choices according to your values. In relationships, compromises are often necessary, and it is easy to lose sight of personal principles. Solitude allows you to practice living by your own standards consistently. Stoicism teaches that virtue and reason should guide action, and being alone ensures that your choices are aligned with your integrity rather than external pressures. Being single cultivates emotional steadiness. Without another person to amplify highs and lows, your emotional life becomes more balanced. Stoics valued equanimity over emotional intensity. Solitude provides a training ground for maintaining calm, responding thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Over time, this steadiness becomes habitual, creating a resilient and composed mind. Being single also strengthens creativity and problem-solving. Free from constant emotional or social interference, your mind can explore ideas, experiment, and innovate. Stoicism encourages the cultivation of the mind as a source of virtue and wisdom. Solitude allows uninterrupted focus, reflection, and development of practical intelligence. This mental flexibility enhances decision-making and prepares you for complex challenges. Being single develops courage in small and consistent ways. Facing boredom, discomfort, uncertainty, and fear alone may seem minor, but these experiences train the mind for larger challenges. Stoics taught that courage is the disciplined ability to act rightly despite fear. Solitude gives you repeated, manageable opportunities to exercise this courage daily, strengthening your resilience and self-confidence. Being single fosters gratitude and appreciation for life's simple pleasures. When you face life's challenges independently, small victories and moments of beauty become more meaningful. Stoicism emphasizes gratitude for what is present rather than longing for what is absent. By practicing gratitude in solitude, you cultivate contentment, calm, and a sense of abundance. Being single also enhances patience and long-term perspective. Life does not always provide immediate rewards or solutions. Solitude trains you to endure discomfort, delay gratification, and approach goals strategically. Stoicism teaches that living in accordance with reason requires perseverance and foresight. By facing life alone, you strengthen the ability to remain steady and disciplined over time. Being single teaches you self-compassion. When you are responsible for your own emotional well-being, you learn to treat yourself with fairness and understanding. Stoicism emphasizes rational self-care, acting in a way that is virtuous and sustainable. Solitude provides space to practice this consistently, reducing self-criticism while fostering strength and resilience. Being single strengthens the mind's capacity to observe and manage thoughts. Without external influence, you are able to notice patterns of thinking, identify irrational beliefs, and cultivate rational judgment. Stoics believed that controlling one's judgments was the key to freedom and peace. Solitude trains this mental discipline, allowing you to respond to challenges thoughtfully rather than reactively. Being single enhances independence from social expectations. Society often places pressure to be in relationships, marry, or follow conventional paths. By cultivating strength in solitude, you are able to make choices based on reason and virtue rather than fear of judgment. This independence reinforces mental strength, self-trust, and authenticity, key components of a Stoic mindset. Being single also strengthens adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and circumstances rarely unfold exactly as we plan. Solitude trains the mind to navigate uncertainty calmly, making reasoned choices rather than reacting emotionally. This adaptability is essential for resilience and mental strength, allowing you to face change with composure and confidence. Being single improves your ability to maintain focus under distraction. Without the emotional demands of a relationship, your attention becomes sharper and more intentional. Stoicism teaches that clarity of thought and purposeful action are central to virtue. Solitude provides the ideal environment to cultivate these abilities, strengthening your capacity for concentration and disciplined action.